Shuluwo, Shuluwo to le spend on your own. My G, ọmọdé ọ̀hún. My G, Shuluwo, Shuluwo to le spend on your own. My G, ọmọdé.
Follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. On Twitter at Mainland FM. We are the sound of Lagos.
Stop paying attention to the hustle and bustle of Lagos. Take a chill pill.
Problem in all the feeling. Calm down, calm down. Holiday to Mozambique. Follow me go to Mozambique.
On the Switch, we are the perfect guide to your destination. Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
It's easy to bring normalcy and redecorate. It's more difficult.
The general elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences that will live with us for years to come. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations, issues that will continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations that, gentlemen, be careful. Better men have founded parties that have gone into oblivion. Where's the party of Awolowo? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true to their own ideas.
Join Opeyemi Akinyode and Saheed Fuhad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies, and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
I had a rumor that you were searching for the station to give you joy. I mean, here. 98.3 Mainland FM.
Alright, it's time for Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Saheed Fuhad. The show will get to talk about how we can move the nation forward. That is what we do on Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Saheed Fuhad. We have Barrister Curtis Adiba with us in the studio. We have Joseph Olorunso in the studio. Nuruddin Adigbenro is taking a deserved rest, a well-deserved rest.
Went to monitor the
but
boss.
Joseph has to be in the studio because we have a lot of katakata from Edo State.
No katakata. Yeah.
So we have a lot of parallelogram from Edo State.
No be big heart. No be big heart.
No, the heartbeat of the nation.
Heartbeat of Nigeria. No be them.
So I told you, I said no. Today you must come to the studio. You can't run away from the studio today because we have interesting things happening in the political space in Edo State. You know, incidentally, we have two candidates from the APC. Both of them declared winners of a singular election. You know, one of them is
which one was the governor? Which Congress did the governor?
He was the chairman of the committee that
produced the House.
But the returning officer is announcing somebody else of the same primaries.
Take it from me today.
Yes.
The one that Hope Uzodinma
attended
is going to be the real one. These governors, you know, they are conspirators.
But again, there are party members who are saying that look, there's going to be a lot of legal battle on this particular one, you know. But again,
but that's the usual APC. They'll battle themselves until the other party will end self-opposition.
That's what we are looking at. That's it. Because today the first issue on the while all of that is happening, Edo State, the Edo PDP also has its own troubles, and they are looking for a political solution. Their own primaries will be coming up on February 22nd, according to the information we have. And as it is, out of the 10 cleared aspirants, 9 have said that look, the delegates Congress they held, they will never accept it. Some of them are even trying ahead of the Guber polls in September. So APC,
and the governor,
as we have it
the
today,
governor acting like why go too personal? This was a public occasion.
No.
There's no road, or maybe in pastor don't tell her, in pastor or in
or man of God,
or his consultant in the traditional way.
Yes, I told him that
did this man shake you.
I said I think it was Sandra I told during the week, just the past week, that look, if I was Philip Schreiber, I would not leave that place until he shakes me.
Well, I think you'll be creating more sin.
No, I
think Philip Schreiber. No, Philip Schreiber over his official residence have been gone. You know, he's an expert in that.
By second, what more can be done to Philip Schreiber? Is there any other thing that can? He's been humiliated severally.
Unfortunately,
the only thing they've not done to you to remove him.
Vice President was barred from entering the villa.
The villa, yes.
It took the Supreme Court to reverse. So I mean,
I think what I would have done would have been to basically just stay there and ensure he shakes me. And if he doesn't do that,
he knows the consequences. That if he
but Fuhad, both Philip and Obaseki, there's something that they know that some of us did not.
We don't bother with that. That's just saying what we have in the public space is what we're looking at, because how would your deputy at a public forum, stretch his hand to have a handshake and you ignore in that manner? And then we also seen one of the governors who is being ordered to go and greet a former governor. Like
I know. Fubara. No, that one serves him well. I have no pity for him any longer. I said so. First and foremost, I thought it was odd to have the Minister of FCT sit in a meeting of governors.
Well, maybe
I don't know whether it's based on the Supreme Court judgment that Abuja should be treated like a state.
I would think that maybe because they think that as the FCT minister, he runs the FCT.
But you know that Wike as a governor, he like media, he like that public something. So the other day he was in Port Harcourt. I say he forgot that he's even an ex-governor. He was in one meeting, so the way he now say, I even forgot that I'm.
I made this prediction. Yeah. I say if there is anybody in this country, or if there was anybody in this country who's going to have problem settling down to any new position other than being an emperor governor, it was going to be Wike, because he was a maximum leader who broke no opposition, no disagreement. He simply has to be his way.
So he was living like an emperor. And I think Abuja is too much of a distraction. His mind is in Rivers State.
Well, he has to be careful.
I think the way they even play the politics of Nigeria.
No, they made it look childish and personal. Well. It's so personal,
because they know the audience. Okay, Nigeria, like what Rotimi and Meji say, you can do many things in Nigeria.
Nigerians just accept it and we move on. Well, we'll look at Edo politics.
The man is guilty of the same thing.
Yeah, we look at Edo politics and see what has become of the APC primaries. It's really very, very unfortunate. We are taught that some of these things would have moved past this and begin to have some decorum in our political space. But yet, crisis, and we are going to be asking ourselves on the roundtable this evening, what are the permutations ahead of the Guber election in September? What are the permutations that people looking at? Like I said, it was very important for me to have brought in Joseph Falana. I'm sure he has some info that we don't have as someone from that particular state, but it's all looking too difficult to predict at this time. But we'll get into that conversation. The second one is the biggest issue for me. That's why we'll not spend too much time on this. Let the politicians just do their thing. Because it's political roundtable, we have to discuss it because it's probably one of the latest issues in the political space. But northern leaders have warned of an impending anarchy crisis as a result of these high food prices, inflation, high food prices, excruciating poverty, and they are warning that look, there's an impending crisis coming if something is not done urgently. While they are having their own warning, Femi Falana SAN has also told the federal government to reject IMF's and World Bank's pressure to remove fuel and electricity subsidy. I'm surprised why he's still talking about fuel again. But again, when we take the story, I'm sure we'll get to know why he's still saying that there's something happening to fuel.
Don't tell anybody there's this subsidy.
Price differential.
No, intervention.
According to Daily Trust, it's almost $1 trillion every month now. Don't tell anybody.
Okay, so maybe that is why Femi Falana SAN is saying that, look, don't deceive yourselves. And he has also talked about subsidy on electricity.
They removed it.
On electricity.
If you have recharged recently, you see that the rates have gone up.
Maybe not totally, but something is happening.
Because they're saying they are subsidizing. Okay, to what extent are they subsidizing?
What is even the
and to what extent are they? Now, how do you even subsidize what does not even exist? I am doing my own subsidy. I have I have 3 generators. I have solar.
Here in Mainland,
you understand what I say?
It's even shocking to know that anybody subsidizing anything.
So the thing is,
on diesel,
okay, so you put the cart before the horse. Why don't you make this available? Yes, and then you can say to people, we can. But every time you tell, remember the last administration when the then minister of power, I think at the point was Fashola, who argued that the tariff was so poor that investors do not want to come in, and the argument was, unless we increase the tariff to be able to compete with the international market, and they did that.
Well, despite they kept increasing the tariff,
and we still don't
improve. If you look at
it's a CBN language.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that and look at what the northern leaders are saying. National Health Insurance Scheme. I'm sure it's somebody we all know, and it's about 10 minutes. We'll take our time to listen.
Is it only northern leaders?
Well,
what about Femi Falana? Just spoke for us in Ikeja here now.
Okay. But again, it's important because there are people who have now
let them not bring ethnicity into it.
Professor Usman Yusuf said the condition of the country, the issue of subsidy removal. So it's a bumper package, and I'm sure we're going to have an interesting conversation this evening. Don't worry, the show is going to be interactive. We're streaming the show live on Facebook, so you can actually watch the show live on those 2 platforms, on Facebook at Mainland 98.3 FM, on YouTube Mainland 98.3 FM, and of course we're going to open the phone lines, of course, to get your comments and contributions when we get to that point. But let's just go straight to the parallelogram that we had in Edo State. Well, Idahosa has emerged as the candidate of the APC for the governorship election that was held and governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, at the Protea Hotel, Benin City. But in a drama by the returning officer of the Uzodinma-led community at the residence of Pastor Osage Izeyamu. So he made his announcement at the residence of Pastor Izeyamu because
who withdrew from the race.
He reviewed but the Osage Izeyamu. So Uzodinma, while announcing the Hausa winner, said he scored 40,453 votes to beat other 11 aspirants. I really don't want to go ourselves with all of the figures. We know he has said the Hausa is the winner. Committee Secretary Lawan Galba and other members. This is while he was declaring. I think what I want to pick from all of this, Barrister Curtis Adiba, is that look, all is not well with the APC. We now have 2 people declared winners. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, was the chairman of the committee to conduct the primary, while we also had the returning officer. At what point? What is that we had 2 parallel primaries?
They said the conciliatory committee.
Which committee? Because again, what any other declaration?
I told you
it's a complete waste of time. But Curtis, are you surprised that our politicians will still want to do things like this? Well, why is it so difficult to conduct themselves privately? While we're discussing this, we should also note that the PDP also they have their primary slated for February 22nd. Also have their own problems. They have their own issues. What we are getting by Curtis is that look, there's the hand of years of Wike. In what is happening in PDP Edo State. While Wike is rooting for a particular candidate, you had Governor Baseki, that's the information we're getting, also rooting for a different candidate. Barrister Curtis Adiba.
I think the surprise would have been it not happening. Because we right from Zamfara to River State and now to Edo State. It's been a common kind of event within the APC. And like I said before, this is not the ruling party has an advantage because given by the modus operandi, they have the resources, they have the police, they have the army, they have everybody behind them. Yes. That once you pick the ticket of that party, you are likely to win. And that, you record. Try. That's what we're saying in the APC. Now, you recall how was it in 2015 or 2019? I think it was 2019 that the APC in Zamfara
ran themselves aground.
I
think it was 2015.
2019. It was
they didn't have a candidate
in place of Marafa. And Marafa said, no problem. You go to the Senate, I take the governorship seat.
Ticket, yeah.
And the man said, no, I'm going to the Senate. The crisis in most of the states, with party's chapter. So Marafa went to court, and the court ordered that don't proceed with the party congresses, party governorship, House of Assembly, and all that. And the guy they contested that election and were declared winners. At the Supreme Court, the court heard they had no candidates for the election.
So they lost. Even after winning, they lost.
Yes, so as a result of that, the next set of persons that scored votes higher than all the other losers were declared the winner. We call that snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That was what happened. Look at River State, because of a particular person or no other person. And it wasn't going to break any kind of... You see, the thing is that when people have power, they tend to overuse this power to oppress others. But they understand, or they know, but they choose to do contrary to what they know. Now, in a democracy, people are free to express their choice. Now, even if you have anybody from seeking
a fair contest,
all you can do, right, is to go about and mobilize support for whoever you want, using fair and justifiable means. You understand? Don't forget that I think it was in 1999, or 2003, that the PDP still said that the zoning should remain in the south, and the late former governor of he was told in clear terms that the ticket was going to stay in the south, but when he insisted on contesting, nobody chased him away, nobody harassed. I would want to see, but unfortunately, we have these maximum leaders, who equate themselves. Edo, during the time of Ashomole, when he brought the current governor, literally imposed him
on every other person.
Now we are also aware that the current governor is bringing one Aswe Godalo. You see the shirt he wears. Follow person wears a big way. I don't know if
which kind of way.
The way is Obaseki. Okay. So this is, and then like this is like you plant a seed in the forest that will generate later. When someone, uses his power to smuggle you into power, it's no longer about the people.
Like we have seen in River State.
Look at what is going on in the US in the Republican Party. Ronald McDaniels single-handedly was imposed on the party by Donald Trump. Yes, in America, it is the president or the leader of the party that chooses the chairman.
That kind of influence.
Yes. So what he has done, he no longer needs Ronald McDaniel. He has gone ahead to nominate his daughter-in-law and one other person as co-chairman of the Republican Party.
And there's that problem they are dealing with now.
So this is the problem of our politics, that we have not developed beyond where we started in 1999.
We're just there.
Yes, it's still
even getting worse.
Any governor who wants to leave the position, we just talked about the former president here now. For I will not allow anybody who is a criminal
to hijack the process
to succeed me. I will not allow money bags
to
hijack the process. And then he says, we know those who will not succeed us, but those who will succeed us are those we don't know.
But again, from everything, everything eventually
let's leave it there.
All right, well, too many parts. Like I said, we're not going to spend too much time on this because there's a bigger fish to fry. There's something big about the condition of the country at this time. I think I'm not moved by what is happening within some of these political parties. And I think, like I've always said, like a lot of analysts.
Thank God you have, because I was.
You knows.
I was even trying
going to ask the question that all of this.
No,
maybe the unseen hand.
What is going on in Edo State? You know, Oga Fuad, I say whenever there is crisis, look for the shadow party. The unseen hand.
Pulling the strings from behind.
Because if you didn't take care of those people issue, you are just wasting Monday
Senator.
From Edo Central.
He's from Edo Central.
Yes.
The person declared by OPIS, our own belief was that look, both parties will be fielding someone from Edo Central.
Yeah. I think politicians, they are different kind of human being at all. Then I think it's time for us to even study APC as a party. Because sometimes I love APC because sometimes they don't need opposition from outside. They create their own opposition. Because when the whole issue of Edo was coming out, there's a group called Edo is one state looking at how whether the political party, the security agency, how to put them on their toes. But that primary is funny in the sense that I don't know what make APC to do that, because if you go to the entire Edo state now, their election, the real battle is going to be in Edo North. The real battle. That's why many of the gladiators, in fact, Obasiko spend more time in the Edo North more than any other, because nobody want to look at Edo South, because from Igbenidio and from him, people just okay, you people have tried, but let's look at what happened.
Why is everyone looking at Edo North? What's the calculation from?
Because Edo North will decide who become
and Oshomole is from North.
Oshomole is from.
Is it about the population?
No, we already many people by implication they have zero that the next governor should come from Edo Central.
So why is Edo North important now?
Edo North will be the people. If you get the ticket from maybe any party from Edo Central, it means that you are going to take your vote from that Edo Central. Then you know the way governors are very powerful in Nigeria. The governor is from Edo South.
Okay.
Somehow he want to use his own influence
to get
a lot
sorted
of. For his candidate. Yes, I know basically have control over out of the 6 local governments.
In Edo
South.
South.
Very influential in 4. Now, it is the Edo North which have Philip Shaibu, that is deputy governor, who if you decide not to, if he will not get the party, he may look for spanner and be moving about. So, and that is the reason Obasike is making an effort to see what he can do.
And Oshomole is also from Edo North.
Oshomole is from Edo North, but I don't know the relationship between Oshomole and Senator Monday, because Idausa, that is Dennis Idausa, is not all that grounded in Edo politics, and for APC to settle for him,
who is from Edo South.
I am thinking, I don't know if Oshomole and Obaseki they have settled completely, because you know in politics in Nigeria, she's thinking about why APC choose Honorable Dennis. But the other one is this. It's as if there's this guy again, the minister for Niger Delta. We are trying to find a way and odd places, and you make all the arrangements. So some of these guys, some of their boys. So we surprised that we are not seeing this message and this person with our Oga, as if maybe those APC might have settled that and say, well, it may be very difficult for us to
win PDP.
To win it. So why should you just carry a very strong candidate to be there? Then
so you think there is
if you know how people emerge as governors in Nigeria, we've had instances where some sitting governors in some states would take their boys to the political leaders in the state and say, we want this person to be governor. I'm thinking that Hope Uzodinma, I know he's everywhere.
Yeah,
may have a hand in the emergence of that Idahosa guy.
And again, this guy again, he's not from Edo State, but he's holding a very powerful position. The former Speaker of Lagos, former Speaker of House of Representatives, now the Chief of Staff. When you're honorable, all of you are together. And
Idahosa was his boy in the house of
in the house of now he is the Chief of Staff. But the issue there is
we may be looking at Idahosa, but he may have
people at the center. People
he may not be deeply rooted in Edo politics.
Yes, but he has people up.
So don't forget that those guys up there can say, this is the candidate
we want.
And it has happened in the past. But what it does, I hope who don't have a strong taproot
Yeah.
in the politics of the state. Because you see, it's going to govern people in the state. It's not going to govern in Abuja.
In Abuja, it will be there in Edo State.
You know, that's the kind of, you see, that's why the crisis in Benue did not expand quickly as it's doing in other states. You see, Reverend Father Aliyah was already well known
to the people of the state.
People, because of his evangelism and all that. And Senator Akume saw him as a candidate who could give the party a win quickly.
That mileage,
you understand? So when he started his problem, and given the fact that the guy was deeply rooted, he understands
in the people. He was the person of the people.
And he was doing what he needed to do more, because we're a civil service state, paying the civil servants on the 25th of every month. In fact, they gave him as nickname. So most people, and you see, political leaders sometimes have to gauge the environment, like the political thermostat of the place. And you know, that was what was also happening in Rivers State. When Wike saw that things were not favorable to him, you know, he went back to Abuja. And Abuja called that meeting. From the moment that agreement was signed, it became strong again.
It's strong again, yes.
Yes. But again, there's another thing that we need to equally look at. Obaseki have done one thing, which I think the APC did not look at very well. Obaseki have, before, maybe for the last, this is a terminal period, he have more or less like bring down the morale of anybody thinking of any candidate from Edo South. He has done a lot of things that, for as far as I am concerned, as far as this government is concerned, Edo South have had enough.
They've had enough.
So for APC coming out with a candidate from that, they need to do a lot of work for them to set that candidate to Edo Central and Edo North. Then secondly, why the hurry from Gandoji congratulating the Dennis Idausa? Then secondly, you know, before the primary, there was a report about the direction that the former governor of Edo State, Adams Shumile, is going, and he just came out and said, well, I don't.
He has been very quiet. Really.
No, he's not quiet. That quiet is better. Is even better. It's even more on the high.
What you don't know, I have been involved in party politics. There's always this meeting that is taken before the party's contest takes place, where the leadership of the party, and you know what it takes is that, because you need my support tomorrow. If I need yours today, you give it to me.
And you do what
so all it takes is the guy who is pushing this guy forward says, this is the person that I want, and I want the support of the party for the guy. You understand? So whether the process went according to the laid down process or not, laid down rules or not, you are going to have the same people congratulate the person who emerged. And because they believe that by doing so, they are crushing, you know, the determination of those in opposition. You heard Dennis saying there has been a contest.
He's saying he's not going to take any of that.
No,
you know,
because there are some other people that we did not mention too, which are that play. Yes, you know, he withdrew. Yes, he withdrew and have reason for that. And the reason was not, to me, was not from people. It was not in favor of APC. Then secondly, you know, nobody mentioned the former governor of Edo State, John Oyegu. He equally have influence, a role to play there.
From the south.
Then Oyegu is from the south. Then Tom Ikimi, he's from Edo Central.
Tom is PDP.
Tom Ikimi has been, and I don't think he has even eaten it.
No, he was in ACN down to.
No, currently Tom Ikimi is in the PDP, and he was present at the creation of Aswe Gadalo. His intention to run. So I think with Tom Ikimi is set to win.
You know what I'm saying is there are so many people that are playing some game in APC now.
Yes.
That they make we.
Joseph, are you suggesting there's a party called PDP APC?
No, it's possible. No, even some we are looking at APC and PDP now. Fuhad, today is what? So is it 17 or
18th?
You will see what is going to happen in Labour. In fact, maybe you can just say, I think APC and PDP, this is just
They
they
are
are
trying
just
to do
learning
the-
that
they are learning.
they are learning. So, but at the end of the day, all these things are going on. It's
This-
a permutation,
but you know, this is
skill to maybe a direction of some people
this
are
is a
going.
normal thing in our politics. At any point in time that some group of people feel that this party has the best chance of winning,
Yes.
they will pack themselves there and crisis will start. And we don't have this sense of delayed gratification.
Yes.
Okay, because you see, there can be only one candidate per party at a time. Why don't you allow the person with the best chance go? If that is where you protect party politics. But you have a situation where everybody wants to get the same ticket at the same time.
Mr. Curtis, you know why this is.
You-
Because
you-
again, you win it, you take it all.
Of
Look at
course.
what has happened to Obaseki in the PDP.
You know what happened? I think it was in 2000. Was it in 2011 to the CPC of President Buhari? The party that was projected to win 13 northern states ended up with only one because of the infighting
within the party.
and that was in Nasarawa State, where Tanko Amakura emerged as governor, the ticket of the CPC. In
Whereas in
Kaduna,
other states that have been thought
in
that,
Katsina, where President Buhari is immensely popular because of that infighting, the governorship candidate of CPC lost. In Kaduna State, your party, by this inter-party conflict that can be avoided, they know you are heading for defeat.
Okay.
The only challenge,
I want us to move on
my
from
only advice to the party is this:
they will not listen. But
they,
just say-
they will not listen. But my own advice to them is, I think it is time for them to know that there are some political dynamics in Edo State. That after all this, the party fighting here and there, then they now emerge. Oh, this one is still going to call. This one is their candidate from Labour Party, from APC, from PDP. When the election is extremely very close, the palace, which is completely apolitical, will come out with a statement that this election must be peaceful, that all the candidates from both sides, they are all Edo citizens. Palace is apolitical.
Yeah,
we know the role that the palace played in 1999.
No, maybe
Maybe
that.
Maybe that was not coming from the palace.
Our palace is very, very apolitical.
Okay, we agree.
Thank you.
We agree with you, but I don't think we've gotten to the point where the palace will now intervene.
No.
It's
This is still primary.
to a
This
great
is a
extent,
party.
it's still
This is the
relatively-
party
The palace
issue. So
is apolitically political.
So why we get
Aslam with Jizwa,
Yes.
the guy is going to be very, very tough with PDP because the man feel that how he has worked then and with that fashioner party,
the
so
breakdown of
he
the party,
played
yeah.
very vital role
in Obaseki?
in Obaseki.
Can I
The
tell
guy
you
spend more
something?
time in Abuja now thinking of if they did not
I know we are
consider
moving
him,
on.
they
I
could
want us
be
to move
I know, yeah,
another thing.
You know, those who kill with knife, they don't want knife near their neck at all.
At all.
So he played that role for Obaseki, and Obaseki got to know that this is a dangerous guy.
By allowing
There's a story in my place of a chief who had traveled with another chief, but of lower rank, to go and collect debt or taxes in a community. So when they finished, information got to them that men from that community were waiting on the road to kill them for daring to come and collect taxes. And so the chief of that place said, look, come and stay in my house the next morning, and then I can get the youth in the community to tell the chief, as we are going, once I call your name, hold my cloth, and they won't see us, we just pass them. And that was exactly what happened. When they got home, the other chief said, you are too dangerous to be close to me, that you don't put a stone near egg. If you could do that to help me, who says when you're angry with me,
you cannot deal with me.
so
in politics, I think what we have learned, the way we play politics in Nigeria, is that look, I think leaders don't want people that are too powerful near them.
Yes.
Or they don't want them to ascend the same throne that they. Because if you look at Philip Schweibu, the last statement he issued recently, that look, when he sees the governor, he feels betrayed. With all of the things he did, he had to fight, Adams Oshiomhole, who was from the north with him, Edo North, and did all of those things. And he had thought that look, this was the best time for the governor to compensate him and do.
So
he
what?
couldn't even
No,
shake
what was his agreement What was the agreement he had with the governor?
Okay, we'll talk about Edo politics. We'll continue to monitor.
Because Fuad, you know the role that Philip actually played with that guy from Oshimole Ward and the rest of them. So there are some of all these things, just like what Barrister Curtis said. If you are doing anything, don't think that tomorrow is possible for us to come and do meeting in your own house. Since we have been attending meeting,
if the leadership can look for.
But pray for PDP, Labour.
The Labour Party also has its own. When they have their plans, eventually we'll know how bad their situation is. But for now, APC have done what they want to do. They have two candidates. Imagine from the parallel primary. We're waiting to see what will happen from the PDP. They have their own troubles already too. And like you said, we watch out for what also comes out of the Labour Party. But we'll move to the second issue. Like I said, we have two sound bites. We have that of Mr. Falana SAN, warning the government not to take the prescription of the IMF and World Bank on removing subsidy from fuel and electricity. We're going to hear what he has to say. And then there's Professor Osman Yusuf, the former executive secretary of the NHIS, who is also saying that, look, the government of President Bola, just like the northern leaders are saying, and maybe some other well-meaning Nigerians, we have crisis looming if nothing is not done immediately. So he had a whole lot of things to say, very, very interesting things, and I'm sure we'll shape our conversation this evening. So I would implore us to take our time to listen. I think we'll start with Mr. Femi Falana SAN, and then we'll move to Professor Usman Yusuf. We'll take the two sound bites back to back, and then we'll come back to have a conversation around it. Like I said, we're streaming the show live on Facebook. Comments are already dropping. I can see a lot of comments dropping already on our Facebook and YouTube platform. Of course, we're going to open the phone line to also take your comments and contribution. But let's just take Mr. Femi Falana SAN and also take Professor Usman Yusuf, and then we'll be right back.
There's no society, there's no country in the world where government does not subsidize one product or the other, even in the most advanced capitalist societies. And that is why Nigerians must now begin to ask the government to discard and jettison the deleterious programs and policies of the IMF and World Bank. Because just yesterday, the IMF was asking the government to remove fuel subsidy in its entirety and also increase electricity tariff, whereas the government had told the nation and the IMF and World Bank, political atmosphere in the country is not conducive to electricity tariff because our people are suffering. The government is subsidizing the discourse. The only economic body recognized by the Constitution to advise the president is the National Economic Council, headed by the vice president. And that body is peopled by the governors, the governor of the central bank, state governors, the governor of the central bank, the minister of finance. So why has that body abdicated its responsibility to the IMF and World Bank? The report of the 2020 report of the Auditor General of the Federation presented to sent to the National Assembly last November. That report is saying that the $3.5 billion, the loan of $3.5 billion taken by Nigeria from the IMF cannot be located. That is what the report is saying. The IMF should be interested in that because we are required to pay the loan in 4 years, between 2023 and 2027. So the IMF should be interested in that and stop mounting pressure on the government to multiply the hardship of Nigeria. And Nigerian, the government must summon the courage to tell this institution to mind their business and allow our country to be run in the interest of our country.
Good morning, all. It's not doing at all. It's doing nothing. The primary problem is that it doesn't even understand the cause. It's in denial. The primary cause of what we are going through today is the recklessness of this government and this president by suddenly removing fuel subsidy on the day he was inaugurated, without looking at the balance sheet of the country, without consulting, and without knowing what the problems are. Flippantly, on May 29th, just removed fuel subsidy without having any fallback plans. You don't do that, and that's why we're going through all of this. Price of food is going up. Inflation, as at yesterday, was 29.9. The dollar, when they came to the naira, was 680. Today is 1,500. Everything is going up, and they are surprised because they don't have a plan. And I said it from the outset that in August last year, that Tinubunomics is nothing but a very painful pill for everybody to die, and people are dying. This president started this policy before he even assembling his team. It clearly showed that the president was being advised by shadowy armchair theoretical economists that know little or nothing about the sufferings of our people. And we all know all this policy is just a prescription they got from the World Bank in Washington, D.C. They got a prescription, and that prescription is killing our people. We've been raising our voices, telling the president and the governors. The president looks like he's just drowning. And the economic team, all they are doing is like flailing their arms as if they are drowning. I saw the three economic team the other day on TV at the National Assembly, and I was a lot more depressed than when it started. The Minister of Finance, the Central Bank Governor, and the FIRS boss. The honest truth is that they do not know how to get out of this mess. This self-inflicted pain they've put this nation through. They don't know how to get us out of it. And we are warning them. And we do not see what Martin Luther King referred to as the fierce urgency of now from this government to get us out of this mess. We are in serious trouble. Everything must stop. There is hunger in the land. Democracy means nothing to a hungry, homeless man or woman. What they are doing is akin to a doctor coming into a room, patient's room, and just looking at the numbers. Oh, the blood pressure is this, the pulse is this, instead of looking at the patient. They have no connection with our people. Our people are suffering. Millions of people, predominantly women and children, go to bed hungry in this country. This country of plenty. Nigeria has no reason to be poor. Nigeria is not a poor country, but our wealth is in the hands of a few. And we see that. Even the cost of governance. They are living as if it is 1999. Our people are dying. That is why in the north we had the voices of our traditional rulers. They should take it seriously. You remember when the First Lady visited the Emir of Kano 2 weeks ago? The Emir of Kano told her, go and tell Mr. President that our people are suffering. There is hunger in the land. It was a coded message, because if the president does not read the papers, if he does not go through social media, if his advisors will not tell him the truth, the Emir was telling the wife, go and tell Mr. President. As a follow-through, all traditional rulers in the north met in Kaduna 3 days ago, and they came out with a screaming headline all papers took 3 days ago, read by the Sultan of Sokoto. This country is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, and there is nothing more they can do to stop the anger of their people. They've run out of excuses. In the north, our traditional rulers are the last bus stop. When they start talking, leaders need to sit up and listen. We're in big trouble. Our traditional rulers and our clerics, 2 days ago, yesterday, the sermons in all the mosques in the north, people are suffering. There is hunger in the land. People are dying in the midst of plenty. Leaders sit up. Any leader who does not listen to the sufferings of his people does so at his own peril. What we are afraid of, we are not afraid of what is going to happen to politicians. We are afraid is what is going to happen to our country, Nigeria. This country we love dearly. This country that has given us more than we have given back. This country that has been formed on the blood and sweat and tears of our leaders past. No reckless politician is going to break this country up by his recklessness and not listening to the concerns of the people. Right, good. Emilio Khan, he's the one who said he could do it. It's his turn. This is not the turn of President Muhammadu Buhari. We spent 8 years criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari. We're tired. And I honestly don't want to even hear his name. He has messed this country up. And you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, said, Emilio Khan, is my turn. I can do it. There is a saying that leaders have forfeited the right to make any excuses. It's your turn. It's not President Muhammadu Buhari that took away fuel subsidy flippantly. It is you. And you bear all the consequences of that reckless policy. So, it is you that we and God Almighty will hold responsible for whatever happened secondary to all your policies. It's not President Muhammadu Buhari or Jonathan. You can do it. You said it's your turn. Now do it. Leaders have forfeited the right to make excuses. And the way they are going about it, they are doing nothing. Let me tell you, it is the cause, it is the reason is inflation. It's not because there is no food in the market. It's inflation. When this party came, in 2015, a bag of rice, 50 kilos of rice was 7,500. Yesterday I went to the market, it was 70,000. Maize, 60,000. How much is the minimum wage? 30,000. How much does a soldier in the war front earn? 50,000. How much does the police constable earns? About that. They cannot even buy rice. 30,000 in those who work. What is the percentage of Nigerians that work? So Mr. President, sit up. This is no time for excuses. Leaders have forfeited the right to make excuses. And the way they are doing it is, they're thinking of price control. They are thinking of busting warehouses. Hello. I'm old enough to have seen 14 administrations. Clearly, from that of General Yakubu Gowon to currently President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We in 1984, I was a young doctor, 2 years out of medical school. President General Muhammadu Buhari followed the same thing. Price control, busting warehouses. Where did it take us? They haven't learned anything in 40 years. They haven't learned anything in 40 years. Yesterday, NLC, the president of NLC, Joe Ajero, said you can give ₦1 million to workers if inflation keeps eating that up. You are not going to achieve what you are going to, what you need to achieve. The primary problem is the runaway inflation. The economy is out of control. The managers of our economy, they are drowning. They don't know what to do. They are the ones that cause the deterioration of the exchange rate of the naira, the inflation we see, and the cost of food and everything in the market. It is not availability. There is food in the market. What I call on all the governors of this country and the president, everything should stop still. This is no time to build bridges or flyovers. This is the time to open the treasury and buy food and give food to the people and subsidize food. The only way you can crash down the price of food is bring down inflation. But these guys don't know how to do it. But flood the market with subsidized food. I lived in the United States forever. Everywhere in the world there is subsidy. On food, you go to the supermarket, everything has tax. But food item does not have tax. Why? Because leaders of those countries know that hunger in any land has national security implications. But apparently, the national security team of this president and the president himself do not see the national security implications of hunger in the land. There is food in the land. The state and the federal government should open the treasury, buy food, import food, ship food into this country. There is an emergency, and feed our people. Their salaries cannot pay for food, cannot pay for rent, cannot pay for school fees. People are dying in the land. They are here in Abuja buying SUVs. With our compliant National Assembly, that says nothing. We are raising our voices the moment you hear our traditional rulers. The Oni of Ife said the same. People are suffering. Politicians know nothing about the people. They live with the people. You don't listen to that? You are here creating committees, one committee after the other. They are sitting and drinking tea while people are dying? No. Your economic policy is not working. There is hunger in the land and there is trouble ahead. No nation will have peace if there is hunger in the land. No military, no matter how strong, no police, no matter how strong, can quell the anger of the people that are hungry in the midst of plenty. So our call to the president and all the governors should make food available, forget this price control, forget this busting warehouses, bring in food, buy food from the market and subsidize food for the people while you keep wrestling us out of this economic mess you've put us in.
I think that I have to allow us take that very long statement from Professor Osman Yusuf, really. But I think very interesting comments there, very telling comments there. It loaded. I won't say it's loaded. We started with the comments of Mr. Femi Falana SAN, saying that, look, this is not the time to begin to look at prescriptions from the IMF and World Bank. In fact, according to Femi Falana SAN, what they tell us to do is a complete variance with what they tell their own people. That in their own country
they don't even tell them anything.
They don't even tell them.
What does the IMF tell the United States when they have an economic crisis? It is the Central Bank of the United States that prescribe the monetary policies. The interest rate should go up or it should come down. So the same thing in the United Kingdom. Did China develop through IMF? No.
At all. From their own policies.
Did Vietnam develop through IMF?
Or the Asian
Did Germany? You know, look, even the intervention of IMF in Greece was disastrous.
It ran the country aground.
Yeah. If you go back to the commencement charter of the IMF and the World Bank, these institutions are known as the Bretton Woods institutions based in the United States. IMF has got 190 members. And one of the key roles that the IMF is supposed to play in the lives of its members, first of all, look, IMF is supposed to work to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity for all of its 190 member countries. Is that happening?
A lot of the countries
Now,
are in serious poverty.
IMF is also can borrow up to $1 trillion to its members. Now, and this is where the control comes in. When you are beginning to have economic crisis or economic instability, the IMF comes in and say, look, we have money to give you.
To borrow you.
We want to borrow you money to help stabilize your economy. But for us to do that, you have to carry out SYZ reforms. And what we have found out is that some of these reforms are anti-people and then leads to political instability.
In those countries.
Of course. And there is a linkage between political stability and economic stability and prosperity. Shortly before COVID, the then President of the United States, Donald Trump, had imposed certain tariffs on goods from China. And when he found out that the Chinese government was shipping iron to Canada, and from Canada it flows into the US, he then put on pork and some other things coming from the US.
States,
Now they know the company pork meat into China. So every week they were slaughtering pork, the pigs, and throwing away the meat. Because they couldn't get it.
The trade crisis.
Yes, because China started looking towards Africa, Nigeria, and other parts to make up.
For the new market.
Now, at the end of the day, the US government took it upon itself to start paying these companies that were
losing money.
Yes.
Just to keep them stable.
But they were not satisfied. You understand what I'm saying? As I speak to you, the US government is paying about $1 billion every month to subsidize petrol in the United States. The US government is paying subsidy. No, because the IMF is a colonial tool.
Now, I want you to talk about the subsidies going on in the US so that people understand.
Yes. The US subsidizes agriculture for its people. The US does what they call tax. You understand? So they tax the wealthiest, and then they take their taxes
to help the poor.
To help the poor.
One is reverse.
So and these people will come here and then say to you, embark on where you have somebody that is earning 30,000 as minimum wage. Minimum wage in the United States is $7.25. That is what was prescribed. And even at that, so many of the states now and companies are paying 15, some 18.
Even raising it beyond the minimum.
And they may not even pay as when due.
So $7 today. At the current rate, what is $7.25? That's what you earn an hour. No, and if you work for 8 hours, multiply that by 8 hours. Even when they take your taxes and all that,
you are still very good.
You are still very good. The government commends itself by saying the cost of living in Nigeria is the cheapest in Africa. But the same government does not talk about what kind of living
they are comparing us to.
Yes, and the same government does not talk about the earning power of the average Nigerian and what he has got to do with what he's earning. It is not because of government that those things that the poor people can afford, they are able to afford them. Government is not farming for them. They bring food from their farms down certain parts of the world from developing. And the only way to do that is to create political instability. Because once there is political instability, there will be economic instability.
Of course, definitely.
You cannot, you understand what I'm saying? Now,
it's just as simple as that.
I think the prof spoke the way.
Now, Professor Usman Yusuf.
No, but instead of thanking him,
yes,
they are going to tell you that first and foremost, where he worked before, he was accused of stealing money. And 2, what did they achieve? And then 3, he's opposed to the government.
That he didn't even support the president.
Yeah, but this is the truth of the matter. What has been the response of the government to the economic crisis about how they are aware the poor should breathe and all that? How have they shown that in their actions and their activities?
Their commitment to
yes.
that particular,
You understand? We're still talking about people budgeting 300 billion for meetings. We're still talking about increasing numbers of hirings as people who have no position in government. They just there.
Bloated.
You are, as we talk, we are talking. There are states that are still awarding contracts for airports.
And that's why the man said everything has to stop.
There are states that are still giving out contracts for new governors' lodge, notwithstanding that there's nothing wrong with the current
stadium.
So, what he's saying is right. And what has been the response of the government? At the national level, is committee upon committee meetings that has not come out viable solutions. Now, at the economic management team level, it's been one blame or the other.
And said, there's a statement repeated several that look, leaders have forfeited the right to make excuses.
That's it, and I agree with him.
Already, yeah.
So you now see when the CBN governor appeared before,
He said it.
he said the reason why we're having a first crisis.
People are traveling abroad.
People are traveling abroad.
Medical tourism.
And now on Thursday he announced what he called a new policy. Nobody will be giving BTA or PTA anymore. It's a card that will be given to them. Mr. Governor, I was given a card in 2022 when I applied for PTA. It was a card I got.
Yes.
So it's not a new policy. It's been happening.
Nothing new.
Those who don't get cards are the serial abusers in the banking industry, and their business
courts.
and their business partners in politics can tell them that we are going to give you a card, you know, for let's say $1 million. If he has contract in the course of the week, how the former to take out $6.3 million cash to pay election observer. That's the first time I've been hearing that.
I do all of that.
Yes.
So,
It's very sad, and I think the professor said everything.
I listened to him.
They should be grateful to him.
Before we open the phone lines, I'm tempted that we should play that statement again because he summarized everything we've been saying on the roundtable as to the current situation of the country. Joseph Olorunsho, do you believe? Because again, there are people who are already bringing ethnic sentiments to it.
They don't love this country. Those people did not love it. Those people did not love it.
What he said is that look, they have been criticizing the president, but now the president has to do something. He also talked about the fact that the economic team of the president looks a bit lost. They look a bit quote unquote now clueless about how to solve the current problem. Do you think that there's something wrong somewhere?
Sorry, before Joseph, let me ask you a question. Who among the economic team of the president has been in the saddle of any viable organization until recently? Edun was now after his exit from the seat of power in Lagos State. What have these two people
done on the bigger scale?
You understand what I'm saying? Better Edu that was everywhere, and then Olubunmi Ojo, interior. Then the minister for works. He's going around, but it's full of. It's full of lamentation.
He's just lamenting.
He's just lamenting. The degree of wickedness and evil that some people have imposed on this country. That's all he's been lamenting. Other than that, who else is talking? What is going on really?
We can still talk in Abuja.
Well, I mean, he had to talk because bandits were going to overrun Abuja. Bandits and kidnappers were going to overrun Abuja. Focus on solving the problem, but you see scattershot. Okay, so look at
the bankrupt treasury.
Look at when the protest started. It started from Kano and then Ogun State.
We are even hearing that there are one or two issues in Kwara State today.
So you understand what I'm saying? I think that the government should take a cue from what the professor is saying. Forget about every other thing that is important to you. You must deal with inflation and contain it and bring it to the future. At least not on this planet.
In 2018, I and one of my colleagues equally journal we were in Benue for almost 5. Then when we went there they said Benue was the food basket of that time that the insecurity were so high. Went there, gather a lot of information and let the farmer be safe to go to their farm because what you concern me, I don't have any dollar or pounds or but I must eat. If the president want to resolve the issue of food, it's just for you to give a marching order to the IGP. Please, I want all my farmers, all the farmers should be able to go to farm But what are we getting from the IGP? Promotion of police or officers back to back. I'm not saying don't promote police officers, but should be back. We should deliver on the job. Look at Jos. A lot of people cannot go to farm because of the crisis in Jos. So to me, I think we don't need the IMF advice on issue of this full something. Is tell the commissioner of police in Niger State, Kaduna State, Benue State, I don't want any of the farmer to even be pushed up to the city. So let the president give a matching order to the security how do you call it, service chief. But the other thing that we do have in Nigeria is this: why the president was having meeting or propose having a meeting with the governor and other people, the Senate were passing vote of confidence on the service. So it's as if sometimes I just look at all of us. What is our problem? This man is an energy expert. There are various constituent and senatorial districts.
It does not concern them.
All right. So now there's this man, Zakabala, engineer Zakabala. I listened to your many analysis that issue of subsidy, that removing of subsidy is going to give Nigeria a serious challenge for many years. But we see how other people are saying, okay, I'm responding to issue of subsidy gone. And today we know, all of us know that they said that statement was not even on the speech
Joseph,
of
Can
Mr. President.
I tell you something? Yeah. Sorry to take cutting. All the major presidential candidates promised
to remove subsidy.
the subsidy regime. And I believe that corruption is what is fueling the ballooning subsidy.
Payments, yeah.
And if we are able to deal with the issue of corruption, and we see that whatever is left is not much, we can leave it in place or do a gradual takeaway. Now, don't forget that this whole idea of subsidy, in fact, the first reaction by his team was that the president was not the one that removed subsidy. It was the former president. I don't know if you recall.
Yes.
That argument was on for some time until his independent broadcast, when he then said that he took the decision to remove subsidy.
Even said it was part of his achievement.
And I understand.
Subsidy was my achievement.
You see, something might be important to do, but the timing and how you do it,
and how you respond to the consequence of what you've done.
You see how they deceive the people, prepare the ground by telling them that, this subsidy only pays the rich. Some of them have 10 cars, you don't have a car, you are tricking the people. If your argument is that so long as the price of fuel is cheap in Nigeria, they will steal it and take it to a neighboring country. Who is securing the border of Nigeria without paying for it?
So if we fail in customs doing their job,
you punish the people. Do you understand? The corruption in what actually comes into the country as fuel, where ship will come, enter from international water into our national water, they punish the people. How come we are consuming the same amount of fuel every day?
And we can't fix that.
Who buys fuel every day? When you are removing the subsidy,
yes,
knowing that for the foreseeable future, or even for months, we don't have working refineries in the country. You were banking on the Dangote refinery. They have set dates and gone back to and reset another day. So at least you would have waited for that refinery to come on stream
and be very sure that
the pot. So you understand what I'm saying? To
still import.
You are not generating. The economy is not generating enough, because even what is generated, part of it stolen. Like you heard in the case of America, foreign exchange is limited.
But we are still importing PMS.
But I'll tell you something, and I stand by it. Do you know that most public officials, the governors, and almost they don't spend naira? If you interact with them, majority of them is dollars they carry and spend around, and then they come back and say, the people are carrying, are paying school fees abroad. How much is we are paying school fees abroad?
How is that a problem?
Do they know how much is coming from abroad into the? As Prof has said, this government should stop making excuses. They have lost the right to keep making excuses.
All right. Oga Fuad, even just another quick one to what Oga just said here. Look at these people near Idiroko. Is it agility?
Agility.
As I'm talking to you now, someone sent me a message that custom is there if you carry watermelon. Yeah. Custom is check if you carry watermelon. They say you want to take it outside Nigeria. Either they seize this or you pay a lot of money for it to take your watermelon from Ota to your house. So the issue there is this. I think let us make sure that what this man said good to
Professor,
every household that the government did not have any roof, no excuse for anybody.
You realize that in the last 1 month,
car without genuine custom paper
and go past redemption camp, if that car will not be impounded, and these are the same people who come and tell us. You understand what I'm saying? Every project, look, the most important things in life: food,
security,
shelter, security, and clothing. Anything outside of this for now, we are in an national emergency,
and we have to do something about it.
No excuse.
All right. But before, because again, by psychology, would have to leave by 7:30. I want us to listen again because
we are not going. They will not be fight. The election is going to be.
The palace can even ring.
Palace is a political.
It's a political has the capacity to do that. But we need to listen to Professor Usman. You're going to support this president. I think he was also very critical of the Buhari government.
Very.
So, but again, I would like to take the message and not bother with the messenger on this particular one. So, again, it's a very long one, but it is important that we listen to these things, and then we can have, I think, a very constructive conversation around it. Again, it's Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Saheed Fuhad. We have Barrister Curtis Adiga here with us, and Joseph Falana. We're going to listen again to the voice of Professor Usman Yusuf, the former Executive Secretary, National Health Insurance Scheme, and is actually speaking to the reality of Nigerians at this time.
Good morning, all. It's not doing at all. It's doing nothing. The primary problem is that it doesn't even understand the cause. It's in denial. The primary cause of what we are going through today is the recklessness of this government and this president by suddenly removing fuel subsidy on the day he was inaugurated, without looking at the balance sheet of the country, without consulting, and without knowing what the problems are. Flippantly, on May 29th, just removed fuel subsidy without having any fallback plans. You don't do that, and that's why we're going through all of this. Price of food is going up. Inflation, as at yesterday, was 29.9. The dollar, when they came to the naira, was 680. Today is 1,500. Everything is going up, and they are surprised because they don't have a plan. And I said it from the outset that in August last year, that Tinubunomics is nothing but a very painful pill for everybody to die, and people are dying. This president started this policy before he even assembling his team. It clearly showed that the president was being advised by shadowy armchair theoretical economists that know little or nothing about the sufferings of our people. And we all know all this policy is just a prescription they got from the World Bank in Washington, D.C. They got a prescription, and that prescription is killing our people. We've been raising our voices, telling the president and the governors, the president looks like he's just drowning. And the economic team, all they are doing is like flailing their arms as if they are drowning. I saw the three economic team the other day on TV at the National Assembly, and I was a lot more depressed than when it started. The Minister of Finance, the Central Bank Governor, and the FIRS boss. The honest truth is that they do not know how to get out of this mess. This self-inflicted pain they've put this nation through. They don't know how to get us out of it. And we are warning them. And we do not see what Martin Luther King referred to as the fierce urgency of now from this government to get us out of this mess. We are in serious trouble. Everything must stop. There is hunger in the land. Democracy means nothing to a hungry, homeless man or woman. What they are doing is akin to a doctor coming into a room, patient's room, and just looking at the numbers. Oh, the blood pressure is this, the pulse is this, instead of looking at the patient. They have no connection with our people. Our people are suffering. Millions of people, predominantly women and children, go to bed hungry in this country. This country of plenty. Nigeria has no reason to be poor. Nigeria is not a poor country, but our wealth is in the hands of a few. And we see that. Even the cost of governance. They are living as if it is 1999. Our people are dying. That is why in the north we had the voices of our traditional rulers. They should take it seriously. You remember when the First Lady visited the Emir of Kano 2 weeks ago? The Emir of Kano told her, go and tell Mr. President that our people are suffering. There is hunger in the land. It was a coded message, because if the president does not read the papers, if he does not go through social media, if his advisors would not tell him the truth, the Emir was telling the wife, go and tell Mr. President. As a follow-through, all traditional rulers in the north met in Kaduna 3 days ago, and they came out with a screaming headline all papers took 3 days ago, read by the Sultan of Sokoto. This country is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, and there is nothing more they can do to stop the anger of their people. They've run out of excuses. In the north, our traditional rulers are the last bus stop. When they start talking, leaders need to sit up and listen. We're in big trouble. Our traditional rulers and our clerics, 2 days ago, yesterday, the sermons in all the mosques in the north, people are suffering. There is hunger in the land. People are dying in the midst of plenty. Leaders sit up. Any leader who does not listen to the sufferings of his people does so at his own peril. What we are afraid of, we are not afraid of what is going to happen to politicians. We are afraid is what is going to happen to our country, Nigeria. This country we love dearly. This country that has given us more than we have given back. This country that has been formed on the blood and sweat and tears of our leaders past. No reckless politician is going to break this country up by his recklessness and not listening to the concerns of the people. Right, good. Emilio Khan, he's the one who said he could do it. It's his turn. This is not the turn of President Muhammadu Buhari. We spent 8 years criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari. We're tired. And I honestly don't want to even hear his name. He has messed this country up. And you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, said, Emilio Khan, is my turn. I can do it. There is a saying that leaders have forfeited the right to make any excuses. It's your turn. It's not President Muhammadu Buhari that took away fuel subsidy flippantly. It is you, and you bear all the consequences of that reckless policy. So it is you that we and God Almighty will hold responsible for whatever happened secondary to all your policies. It's not President Muhammadu Buhari or Jonathan. You can do it. You said it's your turn. Now do it. Leaders have forfeited the right to make excuses. And the way they are going about it, they are doing nothing. Let me tell you, it is the cause, it is the reason is inflation. It's not because there is no food in the market. It's inflation. When this party came, in 2015, a bag of rice, 50 kilos of rice was 7,500. Yesterday I went to the market, it was 70,000. Maize, 60,000. How much is the minimum wage? 30,000. How much does a soldier in the war front earn? 50,000. How much does the police constable earns? About that. They cannot even buy rice. 30,000 in those who work. What is the percentage of Nigerians that work? So Mr. President, sit up. This is no time for excuses. Leaders have forfeited the right to make excuses. And the way they are doing it is, they're thinking of price control. They are thinking of busting warehouses. Hello, I'm old enough to have seen 14 administrations. Clearly, from that of General Yakubu Gowon to currently President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We in 1984, I was a young doctor, 2 years out of medical school. President General Muhammadu Buhari followed the same thing. Price control, busting warehouses. Where did it take us? They haven't learned anything in 40 years. Yesterday, NLC, the president of NLC, Joe Ajero, said you can give ₦1 million to workers if inflation keeps eating that up. You are not going to achieve what you need to achieve. The primary problem is the runaway inflation. The economy is out of control. The managers of our economy, they are drowning. They don't know what to do. They are the ones that cause the deterioration of the exchange rate of the naira, the inflation we see, and the cost of food and everything in the market. It is not availability. There is food in the market. What I call on all the governors of this country and the president, everything should stop still. This is no time to build bridges or flyovers. This is the time to open the treasury and buy food and give food to the people and subsidize food. The only way you can crash down the price of food is bring down inflation. But these guys don't know how to do it. But flood the market with subsidized food. I lived in the United States forever. Everywhere in the world there is subsidy. On food, you go to the supermarket, everything has tax. But food item does not have tax. Why? Because leaders of those countries know that hunger in any land has national security implications. But apparently, the national security team of this president and the president himself do not see the national security implications of hunger in the land. There is food in the land. The state and the federal government should open the treasury, buy food, import food, ship food into this country. There is an emergency, and feed our people. Their salaries cannot pay for food, cannot pay for rent, cannot pay for school fees. People are dying in the land. They are here in Abuja buying SUVs. With our compliant National Assembly, that says nothing. We are raising our voices the moment you hear our traditional rulers. The Oni of Ife said the same. People are suffering. Politicians know nothing about the people. They live with the people. You don't listen to that? You are here creating committees, one committee after the other. They are sitting and drinking tea while people are dying? No. Your economic policy is not working. There is hunger in the land and there is trouble ahead. No nation will have peace if there is hunger in the land. No military, no matter how strong, no police, no matter how strong, can quell the anger of a people that are hungry in the midst of plenty. So our call to the president and all the governors should make food available, forget this price control, forget this busting warehouses, bring in food, buy food from the market and subsidize food for the people while you keep wrestling us out of this economic mess you've put us in.
Right, I must say that Professor Usman Yusuf seems to have captured it all. It was difficult really to add anything.
You know why I waited? Because I wanted to just make a comment.
Okay.
You don't have to like Professor Usman.
Usman Yusuf, yes.
You don't even have to
believe in what he says.
But let me tell you, I think that this is a national call.
What he has said.
The chief of staff to the president should put this in a CD and play it to the president every morning when he comes to the office before he starts. Should reproduce all this
copy
and send and give to
even
all
IGP
members to listen.
What the man is saying?
Yes, because you see, this is the whole essence of governance. Why do people come together and surrender their rights to some few individuals to manage? Because they have the belief that those people are capable, simply government about the people in power. Why they are talking about the people tightening their belts, making sacrifices for a better future? They are taking their own future right now.
They're not even waiting.
No, they're not waiting.
You understand? Even before they settled to work, they took care of themselves. 70 billion was given to National Assembly. So, SUVs have been bought. They are so they are not waiting. They are not tying
that's why we have a lot of misplaced priority. Look at what is going on. That want to see how to they want to see how to regulate social media.
Yes.
And I've just asked a question: what it concern someone with social media
where you have problem at this
you have another bigger problem
to deal with?
So these are things that they will be presenting to President
Usman Yusuf. Open up and take it with in good conscience. We'll open the phone lines now. 091-3600-410 091-3600-410. We are going to read all the messages on Facebook, so you can still drop your messages and contributions on our Facebook and YouTube platform. But let's start to take our calls now. 091-3600-410. Hello, good evening.
Very good evening to all the people in the studio.
Yeah, good evening, Professor.
May God bless all of you, bless your station, and bless all Nigeria, my country. Wow. Fuhad, the professor has spoken. And we too have spoken, we have focused. You spoke every day, all of us. Hey, Barista, and my Joseph, I really thank all of you. You know, this country, we must listen to all of us. You are saying there must be special importance of rice. That is the popular food we have in this country. Let the president, the governor see it and just only 3 months import that to the country, take it to every local government and have a special center that you can buy to control price. I've been saying this. Mr. Pay must listen. People are saying we are hungry. The state of Nigeria is saying the same thing. I must listen to us. Security-wise, it must be tackled. And when you are importing this food, don't give it to Dika Hari. It is them themselves. The government, they have a lot to do. The president, they have a lot to do. The minister for agriculture have a lot to do. They must feed Nigeria. And again, the second problem is social amount. They adjust the price. So float of what are they far back? If we accept subsidy removal, float of naira is the second problem we are facing. Can they adjust it? That's my question to you in the studio.
Prince Wise, that's a question I may not be able to answer because I don't take decision for government. But thank you so much, Prince Wise, for the call. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes, good evening. Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes.
From where?
Yes, I think my name is Ano, calling from Ojodi Bega.
Okay, please go on, sir.
Barrister, God will bless you this evening. I always like to listen to you, to your program. You understand? And I thank God that you come from the middle belt. You see, what is happening to this country presently? That is why, Oga Fuad, if you could remember, there was a day I make a statement. I said this type of politician that we have in this country, they will never fix this country. You see, what is happening now is that now you came up and I learned that even that speech that the president made that very day of the inauguration was captured in the speech he was reading.
He's gone, yeah.
You just made that statement. And without knowing the implication of the statement that he made, instantly when he made that statement, some filling stations start locking up in Abuja there. So, when you don't have any plan, and I said it and I will keep on saying it, this is a person that is driving, it's just like someone that is driving a car and is using a wrong Google map. You understand? He has no destination, he's taking us nowhere. And you will see the supporter will come out and start telling us that this is the plan. You say you are an economist, you have you are assembled the best economic team. So is it the best economic team that we have? Why are we deceiving ourselves? It's not as if people cannot feed themselves. It's not as if there is shortage of food in this country. It's because people cannot buy those food. The price are too high. And it's high time that this politician knows that it is not about politics. It is about the reality of things in Nigeria today. And they have to sit up. Because if they push people to the wall, I bet you they cannot withstand the power of people. Thank you. Mr. Curtis.
He's listening.
Good evening.
Where are you calling from, Pastor? From Mowe? How is Mowe this evening?
Now Mowe I do. Joseph Olorusho.
Good evening, sir.
It's which the other man not there.
No reading. He's
okay.
He's on another assignment. Yes.
I don't know. I have listened to that prof. And I've also listened to your guest in the studio. You know, it's Sidero, you don't, when I call them now, they don't even know what to say again. You know, they say they don't even know what to say again. In fact, some of them even did contract for the last government before Tinubu entered. Almost 1 year now, they have not gotten their money in Abuja, federal government project. You know, because of the election, they gave them some contract to do. As I'm talking to you now, they've not collected their money. You know, and what I don't like when you hear people talking what is not. You know why I'm saying so? Because they will be telling you as if they are in the mind of Mr. President. And they will now tell you, even the radio station, they will say people are entitled to their opinion. If a professor that is a professor, if you go and, because he's entitled to his opinion, you go and run a thesis or whatever that is contrary to what is norm. Is that an opinion? Or if the people make aircraft because they have an opinion, they began to do things contrary, we will be writing aircraft? Or people that are building houses, instead of them to use the right materials, they use wrong one because of their opinion. I don't think this idea of people have their opinion is correct, because that is what has got us to where we are today. Of course, if you want to vote, yes, but when it comes to where we are now, let us speak the truth. Election has gone. We need to move this country forward. People are hungry. Even the Legoshi spoke the other time. are hungry. Let's tell the truth. It's not you come, you will go here today, you will go there tomorrow. Sometimes when you tell the truth, some people they will come and they will attack you. Nigerians are hungry.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Ambrose. This issue of opinion. Well,
thank God that life. Mr. Fuad, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, my name is Tudu from Akowanjo. In fact, I wanted to thank all the guests tonight. Almighty God will bless you. And then the talk already said it all. And then one of the guests said something which I really like. That speech, if you can put it on stage, we said a lot. The man has already said it all. Mr. Fuad, every time I call on this program, I tell you that this government don't have anything to offer. People are saying, I don't see anything that benefits from the federal government that was born. I pay my price, I do everything. I told you what is happening in Ekiti. Apart from maybe Mr. President, go to all the APC states. Oh my God, nothing. Now, I like the way people are feeling the 2027 is coming. Everything like in our hand. Till I will die. I don't believe in this government.
Thank you so much.
And then I won't be able to wake up because anybody that likes this suffering will still be allowed it.
On Facebook. Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM 09136 0000410. Oh, right, okay. Maybe we'll just read the messages we have on Facebook while we try to sort out the phone line. We have Awofeoyi Plus on Facebook saying, well done, Mr. Fuhad Saheed. We have Sheyi Afric Stitches who is saying, good evening. Is it IMF and World Bank that will determine World Bank? Well, they keep borrowing some money. We're owing them money. So if somebody borrows you money, they have a way of ordering you around. And that's the problem we have. We also have the World on Facebook saying, happy to fuel and note that indeed the fuel subsidy was removed. They came again to speak on increasing taxes and now they are spoken on electricity. And our government as usual has obliged. Could this be part of the conditions of the borrowing of the loans? Have we not noticed that they don't give solutions on how to move the country forward, but they just tell the government of what they want to happen? I see post-colonialism at its peak. All right, this is from Benson Richie saying, good evening, my great wise men in the house. What is the way forward concerning our economic crisis and hardship? I beg, wise men in the house, efforts appeal to the Mr. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to look into the hardship that millions of Nigerians are facing now. Thanks, that's Benson Richie. We have this message from Kolawole Kazim. He's saying, Nigerians are suffering because of 99.999% of us are ignorant. The questions we should be asking ourselves is, do we even know how to do anything correctly? What evidence do you need again? You yourself agree that the Constitution says the president must declare state of emergency before taking wide security of any state, and you're still arguing that the president is to blame. Kazim just lives in his own wild illusions and dreams, and he's not ready to learn. I think I wouldn't bother with that message that comes with a lot of distortion and lack of knowledge. Let's just go to Joseph Shockenstein, who is saying, I believe Nigeria has evolved from 1999 orientation because the politicians have become ambitious and more accountable to their party leaders and subordinates, which makes them loyal than their shadows. It is evident that the future of Nigerian politics is here, bright and legit, and current view and vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of 2027. I think I was strongly really to understand what Joseph Shockley was. Beautiful evening. Digest this evening. Be careful who you trust because salt and sugar look the same. God will be with us forever. Good job, sir. From OC Morale at Army. Back guys in my Awori dialect this evening. Our party APC leadership should quickly wade into the rift going on in Edo State APC. They shouldn't forget the ordinary Nigerians are still like all this may cause our party failure in Edo State. Let them settle the matter fast before court is subjected to litigation. If court wade in, it was into their own hands. Well, we hope that people would still maintain the peace. It's important that we maintain the peace. Even not food items. The president should please allow food to come in before our farmers finish growing theirs. And lastly, IMF should please leave us alone. It's not only by that you Bola Ahmed Tinubu. God heal our land. Alabalakwe from Sabo Ijewu, Uniba, Ojo, Lagos State. We have Basil Chika who is saying, Edo Guber, if election happen in any part of Nigeria now, I don't think APC will win in a free and fair contest because of the reality on ground. And our northern leaders warning for impending crisis, definitely it's already building up. Whatever advice from the West is always for their own interest, first before anybody. So President Tinubu should, as a matter of urgency, reverse all the anti-people policies invested on masses, and we say, may God help Nigeria at this point in time. My question is, why can't the president reverse his policies? If former President Goodluck Jonathan can do it during his own time, after hearing and seeing the suffering and complaints of Nigerians, please let's not bring ethnicity and tribalism as the reign till now. It seems our leaders, once in power, tend not to stay in Nigeria again, because I don't know if they do not see the suffering of the people. If the suffering continues, I pray we don't see it has failed Nigeria woefully since the inception of their regime, which is not debatable. What's even more embarrassing and shocking is that their leaders arrogantly don't take credible advice to act on when when they get advice. When Mr. President opined that power is not served a la carte and admonished his supporters to grab it and run with it, that it is his turn in Milocon to become the president, and then he remains the most experienced for the top job and the builder of modern Lagos. He equally begged Nigerians not to pity him when he resumes time. All I know is that propaganda may be employed during wartime or used in luring a beautiful lady but not in governance. Please tell Mr. President he don't read. Nigerians are seeing shaggy. That's Leo Zoma from Isolo, Lagos. We have this message from Chijoke Azu, who is saying if APC could throw away pride, implement 2014 Confab report that registered suggested state policing among other good things, this country will be coming back to life. Should a parliamentary government, our corrupt politicians will still do their thing. Free Nnamdi Kanu. Where's Leo Sharibu? That's joking from his solo. And then we have Abdulhakeem Ayinde saying Tinubu he's trying to say that the president doesn't really take his time to take some decisions. Well, I'm sure there are people that will argue that with you. Let's go back to the phone lines now. 09136 0000410 09136 0000410. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Your name and where you calling from, sir?
This is Comrade Yoroko from everybody in the studio.
All right.
I appreciate you a lot because you are doing the Nigerian solution. So these are the more problems that we are facing now. But I want to tell you something. There is one Yoruba proverb that says that there are some masses, inside masses, that are affecting masses for Nigeria not to be better. Number one, I will give you the instance. This is the reason why NSC is defending civil servants. But who is defending the normal and masses are in within the civil servants? But now, this has all our security personnel. But now, as we are crying insidely and we are crying outsidely now, when everybody are trying to express all of them are suffering as well. But they will use their arms and be attacking ordinary masses. A hungry man is an angry man. No, I'm telling you this because anything can come up at any time. We know that we are sitting on the keg of gunpowder.
Thank you so much, Comrade. We hope that the government will do something very fast. And we are also hoping that again, I think it's a consensus generally amongst ordinary Nigerians and a lot of well-meaning Nigerians that the government has to act fast because people are on the edge. A lot is at stake at this time, and we're hoping that the government will do something very fast to stem the tide. Joseph Olorusho.
Yeah, I think Fuad, I don't want us to compare NSAS. The reason why I say I don't want to compare NSAS is, that NSAS, the northern, some of our northern brothers were not keen to that because it was as if it was problem for the other side. But the issue of hunger, if anybody that talking to say, President, don't mind them, the police, let's face social media. Nobody will even be getting chance to see social media. We just hope it is better the government, the president should give a marching order to the governor, the local government chairman to do something very, very fast. Like maybe as at yesterday, not even today.
All right, 09136 0000410 09136 0000410. Hello, good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, this is Salah, sir.
Salah, I'm Salah.
Hello,
yes,
Madam Salah.
How are you doing, Madam Salah?
Very well, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Because I'm struggling to hear you.
Where are you calling from?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, where are you
I'm
calling
calling from Alabama. Over forward, quickly, eh? You see, we don't have food scarcity. All what we have is high inflation. You understand? No food that if you need 10,000 bags of garri today, you get it. You understand? Good. So we all agree that there is the capacity, the purchasing power that is not there. This is number one. Number two, Oga Joseph said that the president should order the IG and send police to give security to the farmers.
Yes.
Why is the police, Oga? We have over 2 weeks of the total police. We are just 350,000 or 300 just for working ahead of the. Hello?
Well,
hello, sir.
I'm with you, Malam Salau. I'm with you.
Why is the police? Police is paying 30,000, 40,000 that can go and fight. Oga Fuhad, you are a Lagos guy. Just work out for volunteer enter Ijebara, connect your dolphin. These people are living in a house in a pan, you know, without any drainage, poor sanitation, poor environment, poor condition of service, poor everything, and they keep on recruiting police every day, every year, and no barracks. So if you look at it, even our security is compromised. Somebody that is okay, look at how US forces used to perform. Anyway, what happened in Sri Lanka will definitely happen in Nigeria.
Well, we hope that we don't get to that point, you know. I think I just agree with Professor Usman Yusuf that look, every other thing has to stop. Address the rising food crisis, because you promise bridge, you want to do this, build airport, build whatever. People have to eat first and be alive to, you know, benefit from whatever project you want to do at this time. I can squeeze in 2 more calls before we call it a day on the show. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, your name, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Fuhad. I'm Mr. Edwin from Alimosho.
The name again, sorry?
Mr. Edwin.
Okay, Edwin from Alimosho. Please go on.
Edwin to pre-subsidy period. That is the only way. Pre-subsidy, then the handling of the dollar. You should go. Let him continue from where they are doing it and prepare. Subsidy. This is what we are doing. We are partying, we can't achieve anything.
Okay.
Are you hearing me, sir?
I'm with you, Mr. Edwin.
We can't achieve anything. You will be running from pillar to post. We can't get anything. He has made the mistake the very first day. He should do it as the Kenyan president did. Ruto went back after he increased. I know he was trying to imitate Ruto. Ruto did it in Kenya, and when it discovered that the thing was almost following it,
yes.
Tinubu should revert back to pre-subsidy.
All right.
That is the solution.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Edwin. We take the last call for the evening, and then we call it a day. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. That's right.
Please turn down the volume of your radio set.
Good evening, sir.
Damilola from Alaba, right?
Yes, good evening, sir.
All right.
My good advice, honestly, a quick one. The thing is just that we have gone far to look back. The only way out is this. President Tinubu should reverse the first subsidy remover. They will not solve anything. Stay at home. Look after the people you promised to govern. That is one thing. And I said that the thing that he has placed reality above capability. All the people within his cabinet, many of them are not capable. They are being disappointed already. He needs to look at his cabinet and take the right step. People are hungry before things will get out of hand. He should take a step. Good evening.
Okay. I think we can squeeze in one more call. That was short enough. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, my guy. I'm sorry.
Okay, good evening.
Julius, my name coming from Shomoni.
Okay, Mr. Julius, you are the last caller.
I think we are looking for a solution.
Yes, solution, yes.
They should call for Oshibaju. I know that the man has solution in his hand. Only if this government will listen to him.
Okay.
And they know this government knows what they are doing, because Oshibaju took over the government of this nation for just 3 months. And at that time, you can see what happened. The dollar came down from 500 naira to 300 naira. The man took no nonsense at that time. The one that said he used money to cut grass, without doing it, he sacked him. And that is why he could not put that man in the affairs of this nation. that is too much dealing with corruption of this nation to get the power of this nation. And that is the reason why all this is happening. I have somebody in my company, they are traveling back to the state now. He was deaf and dumb. The man traveled to Benin State by using gun to pursue them in the farm. They did not allow them to plant their own farm.
Joseph Olosho, sorry. Mr. Julius was the last.
I think my appeal
just 30
is,
seconds.
yeah, my own appeal is let the president quickly pay at the president level. Let them pay all contractors, pay salary of workers and the rest of them down to states. This is not the time for us to be looking at issue of social media or be sending message to someone. All in line. So that's just my own appeal.
All right, thank you so much, Joseph Olosho. We also want to thank Mr. Curtis Adiwa for being a part of the show this evening. I'm going to end the show today by just reiterating what Professor to make excuses. And I think the president also said it, don't pity me, I demanded for the job. We're hoping that the president who demanded for the job, who said he's prepared all his life for the job, will now do the job and fix the problem of the country. It's Political Roundtable, Mainland.